Mm. Should have went live a little while ago, but I just wasn't feeling it. Plus, I'm still doing some like trial error shit, getting some stuff put together, trying to fix some things. See if that fixes it. Yeah. Does that make it pop up? No, it's good. Still, yeah, doing trial error, test stream. I mean, we're almost there. I'm still kind of doing test streams, I guess, but not necessarily. Guess I should put my headphones on. Otherwise, it's gonna fucking bleed to the speakers. Yeah. So I was messing around with this idea, but I forgot. That's cool as shit. So, anyways. It's so pretty, but I don't think all those chords are gonna work. Stokes IRL, we will make you popular. Come in nezhna.com. There's so many bots on this page, on this site. I need to switch over to Twitch or something. So here's what I got so far. What do you want?
I've been out here in the safe house. Did you come to see? Tryna lay low and get down. You don't wanna hear from me. I disappeared and ran out. Tell me what it's supposed to mean. I've been out here in the safe house. But even I don't feel safe now.
God damn it. Of course it's gonna freeze on me. I was cooking. I have a Hackintosh, but it's like it works pretty good. It's just sometimes it just bugs the fuck out. I mean, I have like 30 fucking things open, so I mean it makes sense, right? But yeah. I think that this chord should hit, but I think this one sounds good together like this. Oh, bam. But I also kind of think it should have this like sort of like that would be like the outro of this, I think, something like that. But I don't know. I feel like that could be cool. But I don't know. I'll figure it out, I guess. But I do think this chord should hit right here at that vocal spot.
What do you want from me? What do you want from me?
I should probably just record these and then just keep the best one.
What do you want from me?
I've been out here in the safe house. Did you come to see? Tryna lay low and get down. You don't wanna hear from me. I disappeared and ran out. Tell me when it's close to me. I've been out here in the safe house. Even though I don't feel safe now. What did you think this be now? What did you think it'd be? Now that I'm on the other side now, just a different shade of green. It'll never make no difference. Couldn't try to hide from me. You can dance all the hell you want. You don't give a part from me.
Right there. See, that's how it should go, I think. It should have that little like thing. And then I think maybe through this section, it should just be doing, it should just do this the whole time. Like that. And then at that last section, that's where all that diddly stuff happens. Let's just record.
What do you want from me? What do you want from me? What do you want from me? What do you want from me?
I've been out here in the safe house. Did you come to see? Tryna lay low and get down. You don't wanna hear from me. I
Something like that. It just freeze. That actually, it's funny. And then,
dance away. I think you feel it when I'm on my way. You're trying to find it out. Dance away. I think you feel it when I'm on my way. You're trying to find it, I can say words. Not what you ever expected and done. Oh, oh,
I don't even remember what this was. Yeah, I think that's a cool. I think it's got a vibe, man. I really dig it. I really like it, but I don't know. It was just something I was messing with. I meant to go live, but I don't know. I was just trying to find something to start with, but I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. I was trying to get the segment stuff working. I almost got it working pretty good, actually. But maybe we'll go through that in a little bit. Check that out. But I had some videos I wanted to watch, actually. But let me tell what let's see what happened. I was watching this video. I guess I'll bring up this other beat. Was it Cool Loops? I think it was Cool Loops. Yeah, I don't know. I wanted to try to stream and stuff, but like, I'm trying to do it every Saturday, but like right now, I'm still trying to get the back end running. I wanted to have this working by January, but oh well, it is what it is. We'll figure it out. Come on. Oh yeah, this beat. Yeah, because I was messing around with this sound. I think that's when it's dry, but then it sounds like this. That's so cool. It just needs vocals. It needs someone to get on it. It sounds really dope though. Maybe I'll send it to my friend, and maybe they'll find someone. He lives in Puerto Rico. Maybe I'll give it to him. It's so like simple, but I love it. It's just so chill. It's got a cool sound to it. And a little fucking tape stop at the end. Yeah, I wanted to talk about this virtual tape. This video really breaks it down, explaining like 15 IPS and the speed. Like if you want more low end, you want to do it here. But you can control like more of the wow and the flutter here. Yeah, I mean, if you want the noise, you can bring it up, but no, really, like, it just depends on what you're going for, I suppose. But, you know, back before digital, you would have tape machines, so you'd get certain effects from the tape. And so you kind of want to like recreate some of that. I was actually watching this video because I've always used this as a rule of thumb when I was trying to do this sort of like, if I pull a sample from Splice, for instance, sometimes you want to like distort it or muffle it up a little bit to make it sound more interesting. But like here's what it sounds like with no effects. And there's this thing where like was it Noah 40? Say like people think that, I don't know if this is from like a longer video, but I think it was this short that I watched like a few years ago. And he said this.
I'm notorious for this, like, very lo-fi, underwater sound. People usually assume that it's a low-pass filter, and then I'm just rolling off all the top end. But for the most part, I'm actually degrading.
It might have been a tutorial I was watching that showed this video, but I don't remember. It was so long ago.
The sample rate, so I'm removing those frequencies from the top end. They're not even getting sampled in the first place. They don't even exist. When you would take out that pristine high end and sort of lower the sample rate, it would become a little more authentic, almost different, like it was sampled or like it was taken from somewhere.
So basically what he was saying is like, I mean, you could just scoop off the top. But let's see what the difference is. I mean, this has verb, but even if we just do like Decimort. There's like a character difference. Like you're just EQing off the top. That's one thing. But he's saying that he's using, I guess it could be bit rate. So then you lower it down so that those frequencies won't even be there. I'm doing it more with Decimort here though, by like cutting it out. So it's like taking that out completely. So then it's like, there's like nothing over here. So like, that's kind of what he was saying, is like, he's using, I guess, like a bit crusher or something that's like cutting out those frequencies altogether. But I mean, it's almost the same thing as EQing it out, but he's doing it using something like this or this. And I'm using both of these here, but the thing is that if you scoop it out, it does the same thing, but it doesn't get that like distorted, like sampled sound or low bit rate, low sample rate sound, I guess. It can sound nicer, I guess. It can sound more like it's like sampled from an old record or something. But that's the reason why I went in here and added this tape to it, because I thought that shit sounded cool. Makes it sound more like it was recorded off tape or something. Then I added some verb, some like slap back, pressed it, and I think I even side chained it from the kick. So it's like kind of like bumping. Yeah, it's almost the same as just like EQing out the high range, I suppose, but that underwater effect. Driving on the highway at 3 a.m. effect. I'm a big fan of Noah 40's production. Stuff is so dope. Always been a real big fan. I think I took a lot of my modern sound from that stuff as far as like beat production and things like that, because I love that dark R&B sound of the night. That's cool.
Hey, what's up,
Yeah,
guys? In
see
this
what,
video, we're going to
hear what this guy has to
be
say.
talking about tape. We're going to be going over the virtual tape machine plugin by Slate Digital. Tape is one of those things where tape it adds saturation, distortion, and compression. So when you think of a tape machine or the sound of tape, it's those three things.
And my internet is bugging.
Hey, what's up, guys? In this video, in a plugin, because like, where do you start? Do you emulate the tape head? Do you look at chemical sheets and try to emulate the oxide layer on the tape? Like, how do you go about it? Like the motor in it? Yeah, how do you, like, oh my God. There's a lot of moving parts literally in these machines. And yeah, they do offer like
This was like 8 years ago. My God.
a sound. So yeah, we're gonna be going over it. So yeah, you press play
Right.
and the thing spins. Okay, we have that. So I'm just gonna hide that because it makes me dizzy. I like looking at things like this. So how you would use a tape machine is you have to set the input to near 0 because you're dealing with noise, and then you bring the output down to you compensate the output. So there's actually a link button to kind of do that for you. As you increase the input, it'll decrease the output, assuming you're at Unity. And that's a good way to kind of drive and kind of slam the tape while not raising the volume.
Sometimes I wish I had done Ableton. I messed around with it a long time ago before I moved to Logic during like the Skrillex era, I guess, when Ableton got really popular. I'm like, man, I really wish I had learned Ableton more. I could still do it, I suppose. It's just such a learning curve to learn a whole new DAW again. Because like when I started out, I started in like Mixcraft, and then I moved on to FL Studio, and I was in that for like 6 years. And moving from that into Pro Tools and Logic was like such a learning curve. I just had to start all over, and it felt like it was funny because like when I was in Florida and I was going to Full Sail, they were like, I feel like they thought that I had like just started making beats or something. But what it was is I was just so fresh to like Logic. I didn't have a workflow yet. But I just remember it being so funny because I was like, no, give me an FL Studio, bro. I'll run that shit like crazy. But
It's kind of like
just side tangent. But it was a guy named, there's a guy from Shorefire Records. What was his name? Is it Carlos or Marcus? It might be Marcus, I think. He was the one who told me about Slate tools. He's like, everything's digital, man. He's like, do you have some outboard gear? And I was like, what's this for? And he's like, man, I don't even use that shit. He was more of like a hip hop like studio. So he was only really recording like 2 tracks, So it wasn't like anything crazy, but he had a nice booth and a nice little setup. Pretty much like what I have here, but it was in a bigger room at a studio, I suppose. Shorefire Records. You can look it up. Studio B. And I was in there with him, but he was the one who told me. He's like, dude, just get Slate tools. And like, I've had it ever since. I've been using it, and it's been a life. And it's been awesome having it. I pay that monthly subscription for it, and it's totally worth it, man. You get new stuff all the time. It's pretty cool. But they have a lot of great stuff in there, man. And I build a lot of chains just using that. I think I did this vocal chain mainly using stuff from Slate tools. mean, I'm not using their compressor, but I probably should I should probably build a compressor. I should probably build a different chain because this one's good, but I don't know. I was using this more as just like a recording chain, not like a mixing chain. Because like, I like to use this stuff when I'm messing with singing lyrics because I'm not the best singer, but it's a little bit more accepted, I guess, to do like auto tune and stuff. But at the same time, this thing has like doesn't have as much lag as using actual auto tune. And that's why I like it, because it like runs really well. And this is from Waves. This would be the what is it called? The Waves Tune Real Time. There's like less input delay, so you can use it live, and that's what I like about it. But yeah, man, Slate tools. There's some great stuff in there. But this is also Slate tools. Slate
Gain
Digital.
matching. Give you an example of that. And without it, you can just kind of boost it. And then, you'll be over, your level, and you'd have to like bring it down again. So that's a cool way on how that works. And that's how a lot of these old machines kind of worked. You'd take two hands because you have two hands, and then you'd move it.
And that's kind of the problem with everything being so digital, is that you don't have some of those artifacts. So you literally have VSTs that try to recreate it, unless you want to go out and like buy a tape machine or run it through a Helios board. And some people do that. It's funny. Sometimes people will literally just go in there and just run it through a tape machine, and then just to get a certain like quality of it. But you can pretty much recreate it with a lot of this digital stuff these days, I guess. But it's just crazy what you can do. But then again, you'll have some purists that'll say, no, you gotta run it through a physical board. It's the only way you can get that sound.
And kind of like do that and just compensate or whatever. Yeah, it's fun. So one of the things that you would have to worry about with tape is you'd have to calibrate it, and it would be low or high bias. This kind of does it for you. It's recommended that you leave it at normal. But if you want the low end to distort before the high end, if you want like a fatter sound, then you have it set to low. If you want...
So then, did I do that? I think I did it with the other knob. This one, yeah. There we go. So let's see if we can hear the difference. Oh yeah, that's right. I knew that. Yeah. Because that has that bit of a like, there's more of like a hiss to that one too. I think he said the 15 IPS too, right? It's not so cool. But that's what I always say about like Slate, or I mean, things like Splice or whatever it is. Like, try to make the samples. If you do, you just use the loop. Try to make them mirrors. Do something to them. Be creative. Make it your own. And I think drag and drop is fine, I suppose, but at the same time, it can also be done like as a songwriting tool. Sometimes you just want to like get the ideas, so then you can pull loops and just. Anyways, this is just a chill stream, I guess. I'm not really trying to show off anything specific, so I just knew I wanted to get some clips of some things I was like watching. So I got some videos too. I'll probably play in a minute.
The high end to start distorting and becoming more warmish, then you'd have it set to high. With normal, it kind of everything is more uniform. It distorts, or not distorts, it saturates and gives like a presence across all frequencies. So we'll just leave it at that. Tape speed is one of those things. So how this works is, well, it's tape speed, tape type, and the machine type. These three combinations, different combinations, will contribute to your sound. And at a higher tape speed, you get less noise and more detail because you have more of the tape whizzing by.
Right. Yeah, I see. So you'll lose detail by putting it down here, but that's cool because then it gives it more of that, I guess, like bad quality recording sound. If like you want that, kind of sounds cool because that's kind of what I wanted for this thing. So it's basically like I recorded this out to tape and then recorded it back in. I've been in some studios that have those tape machines, man, and they use it specifically for that. It's funny. I'll just literally record it out of the digital into the tape machine and then record it out of the tape machine back into Pro Tools or Logic, whichever. It's funny.
At 30 IPS compared to 50 IPS, it slows down. So you lose a bit of detail, but that's not all bad.
Yeah.
With 15 IPS, you focus more on the low end. The tape speed of 15 IPS, it has a higher noise floor, but the response is less linear, and you'll kind of notice that there's a lot more low end to it. And again, it's a combination of all three of these, and maybe even the bias too. And that is totally up to you. So for like, I don't know, basses or drums or something, where there's a lot of high end, it's kind of harsh. You want to bring that tape speed down. It'll beef up the low end, and it'll sound fun.
A lot of times people will just put this on the master though, just to make the whole song sound a certain way. But I don't know, in production, like for like beats and stuff, I think it's cool to put it on specific things, like the samples, of course, but it would also blow out drums and get certain, like, what is it, like a blown out drum sound. I think blown out. There's a specific plugin kind of has that sound. It's something Vic drums. Is it Cloud Supply? The Butch Vig. That's what I was thinking of. You sound crazy. Cool sound. I feel like these would be cool to run through one of those, like the tape machine. Or here, let's just drag it. Will it work if I'm not playing? If I have to play the... I'm gonna see. Did I get to the click track? I didn't even use the click track. It's just how on time I am. There's some like J Dilla shit here. do that. It's so subtle, but it's like you hear it. But it's like, yeah, it's so subtle. Like you hear the high frequencies just come back in just a little bit. Like that snare, it just feels like it's like you hear it more, you know? And then here with the kick drum, you definitely hear when it's up on 30 FPS, but if you bring it down, that kick feels more like squashed, but you hear it more, it's like lighter. So yeah, he's definitely right about that.
So for the machine type and the tape type, the option on the bottom is more of a modern, clean option. So
Oh, interesting. So is this based on like the tape or machine type? Is it the size here, I suppose? I think that's what it's supposed to be. It's been a while since I watched a tutorial on this thing. Usually I just use it. I haven't. It's funny.
totally blanking out on what these are based on.
I think it's to do with like, was it the 2-inch tape machine studio? I don't know. I think it's based on like the size. I don't know what's specific on. I've seen these before. Let's see. We can probably look it up. Was it 216 and then the 1/2 inch 2? 16. Yeah, like these, but where it's like that. Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of. Something more like along those lines. I've seen these too. Oh my God. Crazy. And then the other one is the 1/2 inch 2. Wait, what was it? Yeah. And then I think that's more like what is showing up here in the actual, like this. This is the thinner version. So like, I guess the thicker one.
Top.
Yeah. Because then you had these, and then you had like, because like, I forget what, yeah, and that's why it's modern, is because this is, I think, was more like cassette, I believe. And then the other one was like the OG, like before they moved to cassette, whatever. But Interesting.
tape, 16 track 2-inch, is and one from a tape machine from 1970 something, and the half-inch
Yeah, 1970. The other one's from like the 80s. So they are like, yeah, I believe, right? 80s ish.
is more modern. This sounds a bit more cleaner. But if you're going for an aggressive sound and you want to kind of drive it, then you can use the old school option, and that'll contribute to your sound. It's really kind of subjective. The 2-inch 16 track tape machine, it's more fat and punchy. It's a little bit more thicker. The half-inch 2-track, it has a different tape head. So think of it as like different tape heads. It's not different tape. It's like the actual machine and the circuitry and the input and output. It has more of a nicer low end, and so keep that in mind. The FG9 tape type is a more modern tape type with a lot more headroom. The 456 is an old school kind of tape. The FG9 has a thicker layer.
456. FG 456 tape. So that's the specific tape. And then I see what you're doing. So you got machine type and tape type. Interesting. Yeah. It's been so long since I've looked at this. Oh man. Because I don't really use this plugin that often anymore. Like I throw it on there sometimes, but I just mess with it until I get it how I want it to sound. But I always forget what each one actually is supposed to represent. Because like in a real machine, you wouldn't necessarily have these because the machine would be set to those things unless it has a way to change like the speed. Probably you might be able to change the bias, but this right here wouldn't probably be there, of course, unless it can do both and you can switch out the tape and you have to set it. Maybe, I don't know. It's been a while since I've actually seen one of those in person. And the FG9. It's just Slate. It's funny. Studio. Oh, do I have that actually? If I do have waves. Let's see if I have it. I'm curious. What would it be called? It's a J37. I don't think I have it. I think you probably have to buy this specifically. Damn it, what was it called? FG. J37. Jesus. J E F H I J. No, I don't have it, I believe. I need to mess with some of this stuff. I have so many plugins from Waves and I just don't use all of it. I use some of it, but not like often. What's the meme? Not Silk Vocal. I need to mess around with some of these though. Sibilants. Sibilance. So I guess it helps with the sibilance. That's cool. I have to mess with that. J, what's up? What are these? Kind of puts there's a drum put in the left by this. Really interesting. Palms, man. Yeah, you can like definitely color it with stuff like that. That's so cool. But I guess I don't have that one plugin. CLA vocals. That was the me. That was the joke I was thinking of. Emo generator. Yeah, I gotta look through some of these sometime, man. I've messed with Vitamin before, and the vocal bender and the vocal writer. Those are cool. Some of these other ones, though, just like. And other noise. I've used this before, but what's the difference between a Z and X? I have to mess with those. Maybe I should do a series of going through every single one of these and learning what each one does or something. And watching a tutorial on each one or something. Anyways, yeah. Where were we?
Layer of oxide on it, so you can really like pummel it and it'll still sound awesome. It just these two tape types have a different response to saturation and what's being driven into it. The FG9 has better low end. So, there's a theme here. So like if you use the FG9 with a tape speed of 15 IPS, you will get that low end that you're just like, oh my God, I'm about to win a Grammy. You know what I mean? So, yeah, there's no wrong choice. And depending on what you're putting into it and your input and your output, your gain or your levels, you'll get a different kind of effect on your audio. So, yeah, and distortion or not saturation will occur sooner on the FG456 than the FG9. So yeah, tape type. Yeah. So we're gonna drop into our.
Yeah, so then that's pretty much those main settings. But then these are pretty straightforward though, I think, because they're just settings. This changes the wow and the flutter of like where the tape speeds up and slows down. Since it's mechanical, there's moments where it might slow down a little or speed up a little bit. And then you have the noise reduction. Every machine has a noise floor. So if you have a high noise floor, then you get more hiss. I guess you can automate the hiss here digitally. And then the bass alignment. So I guess the bass will also, I think, shift depending, but Let's hear what he has to say though.
Our settings. Yeah, we also have a bypass on bypass, and the VU meters go off, which is cool. So we have our settings here. Tapes have noise, and there's a few tricks to achieve some noise reduction. But since this is a digital plugin, we can take out the noise completely, basically, to negative 80 dB to get rid of all that noise. If you want the noise and that's the sound you're looking for, you just have it set to 0 dB. Perfect. So wow and flutter. Wow and flutter is basically the pitch modulation. It's, these things are spinning around like crazy, and they don't sometimes, depending, like machinery, it's not predictable. It like kind of speeds up or slows down, and that's wow, and that's very slow. But flutter is very fast, so there's a bit of modulation, and that can contribute to the sound of tape. So say if you have like wow flutter to 100%,
And then I think, yeah, what's cool is you can also do it. Well, no, this is global. So is there, I don't know why there's this like group thing. So it's like, how would this, is it, you could run, I don't know, maybe he'll probably explain it, but default group. Cause like you don't really do groups. I mean, you can do groups in Logic, but like, I'm trying to think how that would line up with like this though. I don't have any, I guess, outboard gear. So I guess that would be one reason. I don't really have any outboard gear. So it's like, I don't have an SSL, like an SSL console. There's some that like work specifically with Logic. I think I've used this one before. It's pretty cool because you can, I think, switch between analog and the digital side. So it runs every channel out to an analog. So that's pretty interesting. But it can be confusing because you have to press the switch button to switch between, and you'll see all the faders move, to match what is inside the DAW. But I think that's pretty close to the one I messed with before. Pretty cool. I think you can put the screen right there too. Then you could like see Logic or whatever, the DAW right there. It's cool. Fun stuff. But yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out with the groups though, because I know with Pro Tools you have the groups. But it's been so long since I've used Pro Tools or had a reason to really do groups. Like in here, I always do, like it works. I mean, it makes sense when you do groups like on the outboard, but inside the actual DAW nowadays, digitally, you don't really have to do groups like in the old school way, I guess. But I mean, I would just, I don't know, I guess you just do, like, if I was trying to combine these, I would just create a track stack. It's pretty much almost the same thing. And then they're all summed and running out through this same, but it creates an auxiliary. I believe it's using the bus, right, for the sum. So it's running them out to a bus, and then that bus goes to the sum. So now all three of these channels would be controlled there. But to me, that's what a group means, I guess. But I know that I think Logic has the groups, but like I said, I feel like it works more when you're dealing with like a SSL console where you have like an outboard gear or something, and then or something on tape, I don't know, and then you have it running in, so then you would have them in groups, I suppose. A lot of times you would send it out in groups to, like, it gets called different things on different boards, but it would get called like a group when you create a bus. And a lot of times the bus and the groups work almost the same way. So I don't know. It just depends on the board, I guess. But the group would be like a bus, where you would send like you would put like reverb and delay times bass stuff on that auxiliary, and then you would run out like things to that group so that you could give that reverb to that channel or whatever. So you would send out like this essentially with like, you send it out in the bus, you know. But you know, like that's what that sounds like to me. So that's why I'm trying to like figure out like, how would you use this here?
You might be working with a tape machine that might need to be serviced, kind of, and you can have absolutely no wow and flutter if that's your thing. You know, you're not going to ruin anything by having wow and flutter. If it sounds good to you, use it. Bass alignment. This is basically bass boost. If you are,
Or
you know, if you have a low IPS speed and you really like what's going on, it's thick, but there's a little bit too much bass on it, you just bring the bass alignment down and you are good to go. Or, you know, if you are using, say, like a mid, like the oldie tape machine, it accentuates more the mid and high end, and you have you know, a high IPS speed, and you want to get that bass back in, you can go into settings and boost the bass a tiny bit. So that is that.
I'll probably talk about it in a second though. I gotta get my charger. I have an Indian. Maybe not. I did have one in here. Wait. Damn it, where the fuck is it? All right, I'm back. So yeah, let's keep watching this.
I'm not going to get into calibration levels because, well, I might.
Oh, come on, man. Please explain it, because I'm trying to understand that. Like, what that would mean. How's that work?
Let me know, and I might do that in later.
Ah, damn it. Okay, so he doesn't talk about it. But that, I guess that's what I would think it would be. It would have to do with that. But you can group these out. Is it by frequency? Like, I would think, is this some kind of like, almost like an EQ? So that's what I mean, I think you could probably set it up like that maybe, but anyways, what else?
Video, yeah. Hiss auto mute. So when there's nothing playing, the hiss will mute itself automatically. And you can play around with the VU ballistics, which is this thing, if you know you want to.
You know, now I'm thinking about it. Maybe that is, hold on, like, because I don't think I've ever really, this is ungrouped, but you can do group. Oh, there we go. Grouping allows to control the parameters of many VTM instances at once. Virtual tape machine instances at once. So wait, but why would you do that though? Why would you have like, I guess if you're running it on multiple channels, then you could, I guess, have them in groups. Like, I've never used that many virtual tape machines. It's like maybe one or two. Like, why would I want to put it on? I don't know. I'm trying to think of an instance where I'd like have like a bunch of these running. Maybe it's interesting.
To have a different kind of view meter system. It's all up to you. So yeah, basic workflow would be, yeah, just bring the input. If you wanna get something sounding kind of like tape, you basically put it on and forget it. Like there's an immediate effect as soon as you put this plugin on, and that's the nature of tape. You're just like printing it to tape and then recording it from tape, and that's been done like countless times. Just printing it to tape and getting that tape sound. And what that does is, again, tape adds a little bit of compression, and that could be like the thing that makes your mix go from pretty good to really good, or it makes recording amazing to incredible. Like, we're rich, we're gonna be able to eat lobster tail every day. So yeah, basic workflow is just drop it on. And I have these drums, and I want to drive these drums. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase until it bites. And what I mean by bites is when we got it going over 0 dB. But that's
I
not
see what you're
bad for
saying.
tape, because tape has a bit of headroom, and it doesn't clip like digital stuff does. It just gently.
Oh yeah, that's so true. Like, that's the one thing about, yeah, because then you can get clipping, but it's like good clipping. I think that's a common misconception with like a lot of things is everyone thinks that like you want to not have full on distortion in clipping in some situations if you want clarity, but sometimes it can sound good though if it's done right. The only thing is that digitally clipping doesn't always sound the best. So like that's, I think, where some of that comes from. But I mean, even today, man, like you'll have people making beats in FL Studio and all they have is like a, like a master, a Maximus, I think, maximizer, whatever the thing is. And I kind of do the same thing in here with like a transient, and I try to keep things. I mean, I think if I'm gonna say this, like I feel like I gotta explain some mixing stuff, but if you're gonna keep things at levels, like, oh my god, that's loud. Sorry. I'm trying to keep all of these like around 6, but like some of these are a little bit louder, but that's fine because it comes through in the mix and it sounds good on the master. We're not going over 0. I mean, yeah, we have a brick wall, but I guess if you want to get more dynamics, then you might not want to put this transient master, and you want to try to balance it around the top where it's more loose. But speaking of that though, that's when you start getting into that digital clipping, and it's not always the best. It doesn't always sound good. But it's like kind of more common now where you might have digital clipping, especially ever like during like the SoundCloud rapper era. Like it became kind of normalized, I think. But I kind of like that underground sound anyways. It's like the underground changes, I suppose, but like in Pro Tools, I think there was a version of Pro Tools where the way it handled clipping was different, and I forget, but I think it was a setting that you could actually put on, but it came as default. And like some people were like, they swore by Pro Tools because it had this sort of sound to it. It was like, it just feels better. But what it was is it was this digital, it was this clipping that was happening because of that version of of the DAW. So it's just funny how sometimes it can give it more energy. And 'cause like I could like pull all this stuff down and hit -6 for everything. If I really want to balance everything out. And then like it really does help. But sometimes though it's fine because it sounds fine, you know. I could probably like bring everything down so that I could bring this kick down, but then you might lose the energy in the mix. So I guess these are like things that I guess I thought for a long time and didn't realize like was fine, you know. It's kind of like breaking the rules of music theory. It's the same thing of like mix theory. It just starts to feel like maybe you were not supposed to do that, you know, but and honestly too, and today it's different anyways. So like at the same time, there's no right or wrong answer to this stuff, you know. If it sounds good, it sounds good, you know. But there are standards and standardizations in the industry, but you know, what's become standard now is just because of what everyone's doing. You know, you have like bedroom producers, bedroom pop, bedroom, you know, you have whole bedroom genres, you know. So it's like you'll expect to have certain elements that arise out of that in it. And sometimes that can make a new sound that sounds much more interesting anyways, because everything on the radio at the time, it was all being mixed by the same like 10 guys, you know, in the industry. So so you end up with a certain standard that everyone goes for. But you know, at the same time, the loudness wars, like everyone talks about, I suppose, right? But I don't know, just some interesting thoughts, I suppose, that I always thought about when I was like learning mixing and all that. But point is does it sound good? Mix with your ears, not your eyes.
It folds it. If you run this through an oscilloscope, you can see it kind of folds it down in a pleasing way that, well, it looks pleasing and it sounds pleasing. Right? So that little red light doesn't necessarily mean that we're clipping, but it's just like, hey, there's the tape machine is being, you're starting to run it into the ground.
But that is interesting because then that means that, see, I should start using this more on my masters. I've used it before like that. But what's cool is that then I could do something like I could do a supercharge and like get it a little bit crunchy, you know, like have more like, yeah, but that sounds like, see, that starts to get into territory of bad distortion, or it doesn't have as much clarity. And I haven't even really mixed on the master EQ yet, so it's like interesting, but it sounds pretty decent. But it's funny, ghetto drums. That one really makes that bass come out, but it's like almost muddy. It's like almost too much. But see, I might want this, so then I don't want to overcompensate or undercompensate. So it's like, see, and that's where you end up getting into like compensation territory. And I just like, you know, but my point being is that I could probably put this virtual tape here, and even if it is like distorted a little bit, this might actually like make it sound kind of all right. I don't really ever use this. I feel like it adds too much compression. But let's see if we can set everything to default. Yeah, default. Oh, goodness. So you want to turn that off. See, but I feel like if you put this on the master, I'll probably delink it. I'm wondering if when you delink it and then link it again, does it? Oh yeah, it brings it back. And see, like, yeah, that's kind of what he's talking about, where there's like, it can give some distortion, I guess, to it. That's like good distortion, where it's giving it energy from the clipping. So I understand that. But in most other cases, you would probably have all of this routed out, and then by the time it gets to your master, you'd have it somewhere sitting around -5, -6, -4, kind of in that range. And then you could probably just turn this on and not even, and just kind of barely move it. But I haven't really attempted to mix this, you know, like actually. But that's why I'm having to turn this down so low. If I turn off the transient, what happens here? Then again, I guess it just depends on if like you want to, I don't know, brick wall it, but then have dynamics under that brick wall. So whenever it does touch that wall or the ceiling, then it stops it, but sometimes that can make it sound bad, but I don't know. But this thing definitely can give your master more energy, I suppose. Give it that tonality. It's like a quality to it. Yeah, I don't know. That's just it. I don't know. Just I guess you're not peaking, so it sounds decent. It sounds good. It sounds clean. I mean, it does definitely give it a different quality. But I mean, I've used it on the master like that before, but not that often. But I should experiment with that more though.
Which we want. I'm actually going to unlink. I'm going to boost the output a little bit. And I can bypass and unbypass. I'm going to maybe experiment with the bias, bring it down. So I want that low end to be thick. I'm going to set it to, let's see, 15 IPS. You notice the mid range and the high end goes away when we go to 15 IPS. That's because less detail is being able to be stored to that tape as it's moving slower. Like that sounds, quote unquote.
Yeah, so he's just kind of showing off what it does now. So yeah, there's the video if anyone sees this. I said go check it out. Cool channel. Awesome. There's that. What else? There was something else I wanted to watch. I had some videos I wanted to play. Not just this, but I think that's the video that referenced that other short. I was looking up trying to find that video. Oh yeah, this one.
I think a lot of people picture like modern rappers who really just like pen and paper in the studio, writing down their raps, you know, figuring it out, scratching it out, changing it.
Yeah, no. We stopped writing a long time ago. Not many people write.
Back in the day when people were just using tape, you just had one take.
There's a tape.
So everybody had to be on point.
It used to be a time before the 24 track, for instance. If a singer went in, you had to sing it top to bottom, baby. You had to have it figured out.
Most music up until about 20 years ago was always recorded on tape. It's more of a process. It's a lot more laborious, a little bit more tedious.
I've watched Tupac giving a speech. Hey, we have 2 hours of studio time. Come here, people.
We don't have time or the luxury to spend all of this time doing one song. We don't have it.
Fast forward a little bit. Word starts to spread, mid to late 90s that Jay doesn't actually write any of his rhymes down.
I mean, so you literally come in the studio and then formulate sentences in your head. Yeah. And then spit it to that beat. Yeah. And you never write down the lyrics.
Never. Which leads to other rappers wanting to do the same thing.
I found out that Jay wasn't writing. I didn't want to.
Yeah, and then that's kind of like where the Wayne kind of took off with that shit. And then like, what was it? You had pretty much everybody was trying to do that stuff. And then like, I think one of the more recent ones that's pretty known for that is DaBaby. But a lot of people do that. I feel as though it's like changed because of how the studio operates these days. But
I ever see a pen or paper again.
He has class, first in the lunch line. My lunch ticket let me eat rappers at lunch.
What I know is when you see your hero can jump 7 feet, it makes you want to jump 8.
50 bands on me, 10 out of 10. You telling me you falling out of love with me?
I came up out the trenches, then I had...
Problem is that not all of them are.
And that's pretty common now, I think. But, a lot of people will do passes or cycle recording. So like they'll set it up so that it cycles. That way, let's see if this test.
Mute that. So then you can do a cycle. Cycle. This is just a cycle. That way we could cycle. Bring it back to the bicycle. And then you can you don't have to punch in to fix. So it's like you just use you can just comp stuff back to the bicycle. That way we could back to the bicycle. That way we could cycle. Cycle. Back to the bicycle. That way we could cycle. Cycle. Back to the bicycle. Cycle we could cycle. Cycle. Back to the bicycle. Cycles that way we could cycle. Cycle. Back to the bicycle. Cycles that way we could cycle. Cycle. Back to the bicycle. Cycle. Back to the bicycle. Cycle. But because you can do that stuff,
you don't necessarily need to always write everything. But I think the trade-off is that sometimes the lyrics might not be as good, but also sometimes it feels more natural though, more like honest. So I guess it depends. Sometimes I think it's cool if you have stuff like to start with, and then you can like kind of fill in with ad-libs and ad-lib a lot of the other stuff. So, I mean, it just depends on the artist. I don't think there's not really any right or wrong way to do it. But interesting video, I thought.
It was great, or was capable of doing it.
Yeah, turn me up in my ear. I'm leaving that body. I bet this be catching body.
God, you ever write raps down?
Hell no.
That's no pen, no pad. They're just
hell no.
going in and punching in.
Punch method.
Punching, recording.
Punching 3 more bars.
I ain't never wrote raps. I just be rapping.
You
I
write
don't
or
know
you
why.
punch in?
I punch in. I don't write.
Today, Pro Tools is essentially like the pen and paper.
And that's where it becomes this different type of art form.
It's improvisational versus writing the stand-up piece. You know what I mean?
It's like freehand versus tracing.
Oh yeah, Juice WRLD too.
That part from me. Just punch me in now. Hello, like right snake. Love it, I'm a maid.
My God.
Man, my name's Moody Hand Red Bronson.
The artist might not really have the song written, but they're not necessarily freestyling in the traditional sense where they're just going in and saying the first thing that comes to mind and they're doing that for 4 minutes straight.
You run back one more time. I'm trying to think of
Punching in like saying one bar at a time.
I got these resins can't fold in a wallet and making the pass.
I got these records can't fit in the wallet. I'm stacking a bigger deposit.
Definitely one line at a time.
Hit the store and I'm leaving dead bodies. Hit the store and I'm leaving dead bodies. Hit the mall and I'm leaving dead bodies. Hit the store and I'm leaving dead bodies.
That first part sounded like Young Thug.
And you play it all together, it sound like a whole sentence.
I got these records can't fit in the wallet. I'm stacking a bigger deposit. Hit the store and I'm leaving dead bodies. Book a fly and get high and high.
They're using punching in as a way to create their rhymes as opposed to a way to correct their rhymes.
Because the cool part about that too is then you can hear how it's gonna sound like before you record it. So then you can just that's the cool part about it. I think it's actually there's trade-offs. I mean, you also still have to like try to be a lyricist in some way, I suppose. But I think it became more about like the way you were saying stuff because it felt like everything had been done. And then like during the Wayne era, it was more about like swag, and that's where that whole thing came. But it's interesting. But I think it's cool that you can hear what it's going to sound like as you're doing it instead of just writing it and then you spit it and then go, oh, no, I don't like how that sounds, you know? So
it's, I feel it's really just a generational thing.
But you don't think you could end up with something better if you sometimes wrote some stuff?
No.
It's just not for you?
Nope. That.
Rap has grown. Rap has evolved. And there's always good and bad when it comes to evolution. What we're seeing is a lot of the same lane being explored over and over again.
People think, oh, they just rap about this or they're just rapping about like the easy rhyme scheme or the easy, but to be in a studio and write 5 songs a day, 7 days a week.
Who is she? She looks familiar. What is her name? Everyone's like, this is why storytelling is so rare in modern rap. Yeah, there's downsides to it, of course. And then I guess it's also like the whole people trying to drop songs faster and faster because they're trying to keep up with the noise because it's just so loud out here. But it is an interesting thing to consider.
About new topics. And
what is her name? God.
Make it sound different. It's very, very impressive.
It is a sport. Yeah, it is a sport to it.
Instead of 1 song for a week, it's 5 songs a night, and we keep it pushing.
It's not that artistry isn't appreciated, but it's more so like, all right, how fast are we getting this done?
We don't come under the umbrellas of the people who write rap. It's like J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, and I'm just saying that the unprofessional rap culture is what I'm a kid of. Guys who like, I'm just a street cat and I'm rapping.
I'm flipping the knuckle when bought me a gun. I jumped out the poacher and bought me a gun.
Yeah, but that's the other thing too is, like I said, it can feel more authentic and in the moment. So like, it's kind of cool for that, but at the same time, yeah, you're trying to write like intricate rhymes and intricate storytelling, I suppose. That is the downfall of it. If you're trying to make hits, I mean, really, it doesn't matter, I guess. I mean, it doesn't matter anymore. Just make what you want to make. Just do what you want to do, bro. It's all about self-expression. You want to express yourself that way, express yourself that way.
I just want a lot of people to know that. Like, you're not Jay-Z, you're not a failure.
It's about you. Whether you're writing on a phone, a piece of paper, punching in, off the dome, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, there's CLA. That's so fun.
Rapping to me like coming from like how I feel right then and there. Like me writing it down ain't gonna be the same energy me saying it.
You can't really hold your take.
And that's actually the other thing too about the whole like writing it all down is sometimes it can get to be too stiff and it's too planned out. So then it just sounds like you're just saying stuff, saying words, and yeah, they line up a certain way, but they don't, it doesn't necessarily like, it doesn't sound the same as when you just did it off the dome or you did it off, off top, because then you're just like, it had a different energy to it, it's just a different delivery. It feels more natural. It flows a little different. So like that can be the problem, I guess. Like you can fit so many syllables and it goes, bada, 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 and hit it. But at that point, it feels too rehearsed to where it's like, it doesn't actually feel natural anymore. But that's the cool part about, I feel like, that modern recording style. But like I said, there's trade-offs, you know. I think there's a good balance between the two, like maybe writing some things and then like I have the hook, but I don't know what all the verses are yet, or I have the verses, but I don't really have the hook fully, you know. And then you go in the studio and you end up chopping up a portion of the verse to get the hook, you know. It's just whatever happens, you know.
Sneak over a younger generation's head, right? Ultimately, it is about just getting the best end result.
I done got reach up the sticks. I done got reach up the sticks.
I respect it all because it all takes work and it all takes thought. Whether you're sitting over a pad or you got to spend 4 hours figuring it out, piecing it together, punching in, at the end result moves people emotionally, the art is worth it.
I agree with that. I think it's about the end result because your end consumer is not thinking about all that. I mean, some are, but not all. I think it's probably more criticized in the hip hop side of things. But when it comes to like pop or pop trap or pop hip hop, I guess, then, you know, it's more like the end listener isn't really sitting there going, you know, oh, did he write that down? You know, you know, and a lot of times it's just about the vibe and like how it sounds, how it feels, how does it make me feel in the moment. And I don't know, that's why I like a lot of that like grimy shit, because it's just fun to listen to. But am I sitting there deciphering their 3 stacks? No. I mean, it's just fun shit to listen to. Like Don Toliver, the vibe is cool. I put that shit on when I'm driving, you know. But I thought that's an interesting thing to think about, because I was watching a stream with the baby, and God, it looks painful being in those sessions with him. But I've done it like that with people where they just where I had a guy that would write his lyrics down and he would write them, but he didn't know how to fit it to the 16, so he would just like he just run on bars, and it was like, okay, that works, but it wouldn't line up right. And then, but a lot of it was like he dropped the paper and freestyle, because everyone was trying to be like Wayne or Hove, and I thought that shit was funny. But yeah, so I've seen both sides of it. I always like the people who show up with bars written, you know, and that they knew how to freestyle a little bit, because then they could write it and they could spit part of the bars and then freestyle words where it just felt more natural, you know. But then you also have people that can't freestyle, but they're trying to though. So then you end up with them just like for hours trying to get that one part, you know. Oh man, that was one of the reasons why I think I decided I didn't want to record artists for a long time. I was like, I don't want to do this. But because that's also where the industry was going anyway. So even if I went, like, I feel like in that direction, I feel like I would still be dealing with that shit, because even your big time rappers are just doing it that kind of way. But let's see. I had a couple other videos I want to watch, but yeah, that's that video. I thought that was interesting. Why rappers stopped writing. And that was like 2 years ago. Jesus. But yeah, these streams, I'm trying to just like do like test content about like what I'll be doing, and I'll probably have more structure to them later. Today, I wanted to try watching videos and seeing how that goes, because I have this thing working in the background cut up. I've showed it off in the other streams, and it's supposed to go in and like edit things into segments and then find shorts and stuff. So that's kind of the idea here, and I want to go in and find the ones and then like post them to my social. But that's really what I'm trying to do here, is I'm running a test stream to like continue programming this. I've been coding this with Cursor, but I've been trying to get it to work right. These shows captions should now be properly synced. It should be. Let's take a look at it real quick. See what we got here. I think these are more new.